All right, so my name is Kate. I'm going to be teaching for you guys today. Today, I hope you are here for print marketing. With that, we are going to take a look at command and how to create some different pieces of print marketing, focusing on creating a flyer, as well as a listing presentation. So we're going to take a look at those items, and we should have some time at the end for questions. If there's anything specific you guys would like to see, you can definitely drop those in the chat, let me know, and we can try to make room for that. I will have everyone muted through the class. It just allows us to get through all of the content. But if you have questions as we're going through, I will have chat open so that I can keep an eye on that. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. So the first thing we want to do is we want to go to command. If you don't know how to get to command, it's going to be agent.kw.com. And then it will have you sign in with your KW username and password. From there, the first thing we want to do is, I just want to mention that everyone's homepage can look a little bit different. So if you're seeing yours doesn't look exactly like mine, totally okay. They are, again, semi-customizable. You can kind of move things around and decide what you want to see and not see. But we're going to go ahead and head over to designs. So if you're not sure where designs is, you can hover over these little applet icons on the left-hand side, or you can hit this red and white KW. That's going to expand the bar over here so that you can see each of those listed. Now we're going to go into designs again. So that looks like kind of a paintbrush with a canvas behind it, or paper, whichever you want to call it. We're going to go ahead and close that back up. Another place that your command may differ from mine, you're going to notice when we're in here that you're seeing designs that I've created in the past. And that is what is popping up here. If you haven't created any designs in command, you won't see anything here, and that's totally okay. As you can see, I've used designs quite a bit, so there is a lot in here. You can search for certain designs if you're looking for something to recreate. You can filter. It will let you do it based on design type. You can also import a design, create. You can sort them to show oldest designs and newest designs. You can also change your layout here to have more of a table of contents kind of label versus just the images, the little like thumbnails. When you're hovering over images, you can select multiples that will allow you to clear them, or select all, delete if you want to clear them up. You also have the option to click the three little dots, and that can download, rename, make a copy, or delete. But let's go ahead and jump in. So you can get to the templates in here a couple of different ways. So you can either hit create design, and it will allow you to pick what type of design you're doing. But we're going to go ahead and just click import design. Now, we're not going to be importing a design for today's class, but this brings us into kind of the same window that creating one would bring us to. Creating one would generally bring you into this templates tab where you can access those. But for the first thing we want to take a look at is, again, you can find my projects here, but we're going to just take a look at these assets really quick. So once we're in assets, you'll see that there are Keller Williams Realty assets, and then there are my assets. So these are different pieces of designs that you're going to be pulling in and using frequently. So for example, if you're adding your headshot to marketing a lot, if you're adding your email or your logo or something like that, this makes it easier to quickly pull those into your designs. So with the KWRI provided assets, you'll notice that they have their own set. For colors and fonts, they have the KWRI provided color palette that you can use. They also have some fonts that they've provided. If we come down into images, they have some stock photos that you guys can use as well for various different pieces of marketing that you might be creating, blogs, things like that. They have a ton of photos in here. You'll even notice that they have folders up top that have kind of categorized those. They have holidays if you're looking for something like that. house exteriors, neighborhoods, all of that good stuff. They have a ton of photos in here. Next, we have text. Their text is just the ownership statement, the disclaimer, each office is independently owned and operated. For logos, they have the KWRI provided logos, so they have Keller Williams University. If you're looking for a Red Day logo, if you're a luxury agent, you can find those logos here. Miscellaneous, this is, I believe, just the Equal Housing and NAR logo. Labs, and then they have some generic Keller Williams logos. So I like to point these out. We'll also take a look at the Market Center specific logos when we get down to My Assets. Now for elements, these are going to be kind of like symbols or icons that you're using often on various marketing. So a lot of times when we're creating different things, we're usually including phone numbers or emails or a website. You can use these icons to put next to those instead of typing out cell phone or putting a C, things like that. Videos, if they had any, they would be right here. And then for files, they have the style guide and design addendum. So just some PDFs. Now, if we go down into My Assets, this is where you can create your own. So one important thing about marketing is generally you want to keep it kind of consistent. You're building your brand. So you can build your brand here. You can create your own color schemes, color palettes. You can create your own fonts that you would like to use on a regular basis, all of that good stuff. So as you can see, I have a few color palettes up here. There's the main palette, which of course I can edit if I have changed what I'm doing. I just hover over those and click the little X. I can also create new, and it will just add it right here. Actually added it here. I can click those dots, rename it or delete it. I can clean these up, delete them if they're old ones. But once you have a color palette here, you can kind of start changing that. So if we delete these colors and pick some new ones, we'll just click on that little plus sign, and then we drag our dropper until we find what we're looking for. So if we want to do some greens today, we'll do this color. And you can do whatever colors. Again, this is if you're like kind of building your brand and you want to have your own colors that you're just using all of the time. You can kind of do it this way. I'm just picking random colors. But then we have our color palette. Next is the fonts. So if you want to stay consistent in using those fonts every time you're creating some marketing, you can pick your own fonts that you like. You can upload fonts if you want. You can also just search the available fonts and find some that you like. When you find one that you like, you just turn it on. And once you've done that, we'll just grab a couple. We'll let this load for a second. Once I do that, I hit add. It has 3 fonts selected, and it's going to immediately add those to my fonts to start using. So I can start pulling those into my designs as I'm creating them. Now, next is going to be our images. Now, these are generally going to be photos that you're using frequently. So for example, your headshot, if you're trying to put QR codes on your marketing for people to be able to easily scan, a great example is if you are creating an open house flyer and you want them to be able to easily scan that QR code, go to your website, sign in, that would be a great example. So you can add a QR code here for that. You can add your headshots. And the wonderful thing about Command is it will let you remove that background as soon as you upload a photo here. So Scott's photo, for example, if we click on these 3 dots, we can go ahead and click remove background. And as you can see in the bottom, background removal has started, progress, and then it has added a new photo and removed that background. So I can start using that on different types of marketing. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Next is going to be text. Now, these are going to be different text that you're pulling into your designs often. Just makes it a little easier so you don't have to type it, you don't have to remember it, you don't copy paste it, you just pull it in. So for example, the app code is a great one. You can also create a QR code for your app. If you were recently onboarded, you should have one in your Keller Cloud setup. But we're happy to create one if you weren't, so just let us know. But other things, you can pull in phone numbers, offices, information, license numbers, all of that good stuff that you're adding to your designs. Adding them here just makes it really quick to add it to your designs. Next is going to be logos. So logos, generally, these are going to be your market center specific logos. Or if you've branded yourself as a team or a solo agent, you can add your branded logos here. You can even create folders for each of those. As you can see, I kind of add a new one every time I'm in here. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll do new folder, and I'm going to go over to kwconnect.com, and we're going to find our logos. So to find the market center specific logo, kwconnect.com, and we're going to come to resources. From there, we're going to go down to marketing. And the very top option is logos and branding. So we're going to click on that. And then from here, we're going to scroll down until we get to a little search bar. And this is where you can search by your market center number if you know it, or the market center name. So we're just going to grab the market center today. Just randomly type in a number. I'm going to grab that name and put that here. Oh, and I already have that one, but that's okay. We'll go back. There we go. Now I can preview my logo to make sure it is the one I'm looking for. And then once I preview, I can hit this download option. That will put a folder on my computer. And I can open that up. Do not need that big. Oops. And then from here, I'm just going to go back to my downloads because, oh, where's it? Give me 1 second, guys. I'm just going to find that new folder. Let's see. And it's doing that since I already have that one. It's just giving me trouble. So let's just find a different one. 295. Okay, we'll just go with this one. And that office has two. So again, you just want to make sure you're grabbing the one that you need. And I'm going to go ahead and edit my folder over here. We already have some, so we're going to rename this top one. Oops. There we go. We're going to open that folder. And now we have our logos. So there's a couple folders within that folder, and we're going to check out the CMYK and this black and white. So when we click on the CMYK, let me change this, and now I'm going to actually make it a little bigger. You'll notice that I have a few different formats, a few different colors of that logo. So this first one is going to have a white background behind it, whereas these other two, one is gray, one is white. They are transparent backgrounds. So whatever I put them on, it's not going to have that white background behind it. Now, if we go back to our folder and go to black and white and do the same thing, you'll notice again, same thing. We have different formats, different color options, white background, transparent background. I do like to mention, not every market center is going to have all of the logos available. Some of them only have limited ones. So whatever downloads is what is available. Now we're going to go ahead and pull those into our new folder. So I'm going to do upload. And I'm going to grab this folder here. I'm just going to grab all of those available logos, do add more. And we're going to go back and go to black and white. We're going to grab all of those. Now I have 7 files total selected, and I'm going to just upload all of those. It's going to put all of the variations in here. So when I'm creating my designs, I can easily use whatever logo is going to work best for what I'm creating. So certain logos, if the background is dark, some of these logos with the gray are going to be really hard to see. So it's great to have the different options so that you can easily just pull them in. Let's see, question in the chat. What is the link to access the portal? Jasmine, are you referring to the logos, where to access the logos? While I wait for her to answer, the next thing is the elements. So same as the KW provided, if you have your own icons, symbols, whatever you want to call it, you can add those here so you can pull them in. If you have any videos, you can add those as well as any files. So just going over assets, again, just makes creating those designs a little bit faster, quicker, and easier on you. I am in command right now, so that would be agent.kw.com. Oops, and I cannot type. There we go. From here, though, we're going to go ahead and pop over and start creating our actual design now. So we're going to head to templates. And from there, you're going to see that we have a ton of categories on the left-hand side. And within those categories, if we open one, you're going to notice that we have some subcategories. So we have listing, they're going to have for sale, coming soon, open houses, under contract, all of those. Then that's not to say that if you want to create a whatever design and it is an open house flyer that you like, you can customize that to be a just listed. They're very similar, but they are going to differ a little bit. So whatever design you like, you can customize it to make it used for whatever you would like. For example, I like to look at, let's look at a door hanger, for example. We do get questions. Sometimes people just want to go out and hand out one with their photo, their name, information, how to reach them. You can change this to just be for you. So if you want to change that listing photo on the front to be your agent photo, say something like, give me a call, I'd love to, give you a price for your house, anything like that. You can change these to be whatever you would like. These are just templates for you guys to use. And of course, they are already made for specific things. That's not to say you can't create them for what you're looking for. But moving along, let's take a look at an open house flyer. You'll notice when I click on open house, I have some options up top. I have social, social wide, social square, stories, door hangers, flyers, which are going to be 8.5 by 11. I also have the bifolds, trifolds, and then postcards. Now, when I click on one of those, it's going to show me just the designs, the templates that are for that specific item. Because of course, they are going to be slightly different. Postcards have more than one side. They're also sized differently. We're going to take a look at the flyers for today's class. And we are just going to pick a flyer that we like. I'm going to go with this one right here. And once I decide which one I like, I can go ahead and start customizing it. So now that we are in the designs, we brand editor, we'll see over here on the left-hand side, we can go back to templates. We have images. Now, when we're in images, we have stock photos. Those are going to be actual stock photos from the internet. We have workspace. Now, these are going to be those assets we just previously looked at that are provided by KWRI. So additional stock photos, things like that. You have all of those folders that were available before. We also have My Assets, which is going to bring you into your specific photos that you've added. You can certainly add more here, create folder if you forgot to add something. We have text. Same thing, we have Add New, which will add new text on the top of your design. We have banners, which kind of look like stickers or something like that in my book. You have workspace, which again is the KWRI provided assets. And then you have yours. Same for logos. You have the workspace ones as well as your own. Elements, stock, workspace, and your own. We have the KWLS. Now this will allow us to easily pull in our listing photos and things like that, which we'll take a look at in just a second. We have animation, which we're not going to take a look at today because we are working on something that is print. Animation would be good for social posts, things like that, that are not going to be a flat printed image. But let's go ahead and start editing this. So I'm going to click on the logo. And then I'm going to go into my assets and we're going to grab this new one that we added. Now I get to decide which one would look the best. I'm clicked on my logo. So if I come over here and I want this one, I can click the double arrow and it's going to say replace image. When I click on that, it's going to put that logo in the exact same space that that other logo was in. Now again, you have to be clicked on the logo to do that. If you're not clicked on it, you'll notice when you hover over these, it's just giving you the add new. That's going to add the image straight to the flyer. Moving along, let's grab our photo for our house. So for our listing, we're going to click on the photo and then go to the KWLS. And then from here, we have the option to search by listing address, MLS number, the KWLS ID, listing agent, or co-listing agent. Now, I don't have any listings, but I did pull one that we can use for today's class. So I'm just going to grab the address. We do recommend using the MLS ID if you have it. It's just a lot faster. This is pulling from every MLS, so that's just going to be the quickest way to get to what you're looking for. We're going to go ahead and grab this one right here. I'm going to hit select. And then from there, you'll notice it is giving me all of the listing photos. I have all of the listing details that I can quickly pull into my design. So we can just start editing this. We're going to go ahead. I'm clicked on that photo, so I have the replace option. It's going to put my photo right into that little square. I can still double click and customize that. So if I want to zoom in just a little bit more on the house, I certainly can. Once I'm done and I have it where I like it, I can hit the done option at the top. Next, I can start editing everything else. So you're invited, open house, those don't really have to be changed. We do want to replace the address. So we're going to go ahead and do the replace. Now I want to point out, if the address looks different here than it does here, it's not going to adjust. It's going to be exactly what is here. So if we hit replace, it is a little bit different. You can certainly double click on that and make changes if you want to. So I'm going to do that and just add that. Add the state. You can also edit text by hitting the typewriter up here. That will open a new box and you can start editing it there. Another thing I just want to point out really quickly is when you're editing a text field that has multiple pieces of information and you're trying to pull in info from over here, if you replace 4 bedrooms with all of that, it's going to replace everything. So you just have a 4. So in certain cases, it is going to be easier for you to pull up the typewriter and just type. So I'm just going to do that here. We have 4 bed. We're going to put 4 baths. And then we're going to put, and we're going to hit save changes. And if this is too hard to see, if you need to zoom in, you can certainly hit this plus sign. It will zoom things in on your flyer, make it a little bit easier to access and read. And you can just scroll down to find everything. Now here, you are going to have the listing description over here. Right here. Now, as you can see, it is much bigger than the box that was provided. I can edit what is in there to remove some of the text. I can also change the size of my box if I want to. We do get a lot of questions on these dots over here. If you don't like these, you can just click on it and delete. And then that will allow us to adjust this even further. From there, we can also move some of this other text down. So if we grab all of this, I'm just double clicking and hitting shift on my keyboard at the same time. I can move this down. make this longer, put it all in one line. Put this down. Then I don't even have to edit my text. Of course, if you need to or want to, you certainly can. But I'm just going to do it this way for today. Now we want to replace these other photos as well. So if we come back up and go to photos, we can find a different one to highlight. Go with this one of the kitchen. And again, I can zoom in a little bit. I'm done. Let's switch out our other one. I'll just grab the backyard. All right. We want to change our listed at price. Some details. Now, of course, it is pulling in that US dollars as well. You can remove that if you want. Let's see. Sunday. What is this weekend? This weekend is, oops. September. As you can see, it's again putting it on multiple lines there. It's kind of wrapping that text. If I click off of the text, I can grab that box and drag it and then readjust where it's sitting. I can also change the size of the text if I just want to make it smaller. So that is customizable as well. Same for any of this font. If you don't like the font that's displayed here, you can certainly change that and grab something different. Again, this is where kind of your customization will come into play if there's certain things that you like to show on each of them. If you're using, being consistent with your text and fonts and colors, things like that, you can certainly adjust those. Now down at the bottom, we're gonna go ahead and grab the photo here. I'm gonna go back to images and we're gonna throw Scott's in there. I'm gonna zoom in just a little, move him over, and we're gonna hit done. And then we're going to go ahead and put in his name. I'm just going to put in Scott Leroy Marketing. We can pull in our website. Now, again, same thing with this text box. If we were to try to replace this with one of our assets, it would replace everything with just one thing. So we don't want to do that. Unless you create one that has all of that in there, you could certainly do that as well. I don't know about you guys. I can never type when someone is watching me, even if it's through a computer screen. And then let's grab the phone number from here and we'll pop that in as well. All right, and it's doing the same thing. So my text is a little bit longer than what was here. So again, I can drag that box over or change the size of it, whatever you would like to do. Our open house flyer is almost done. I do like to point out, if you don't like the red, this is where we can have a little fun with it. If you're using branded colors, things like that, we can click on this box behind the text and I can change that. So if I want to use one of my templates, I like to go with the pink because it stands out. We can go ahead and change that. So I'm just clicking on each item, changing that text. We can do it here too for the text, not just the background. Put that one in. Let's say we want this one to be a light pink instead. All right, change this text too. So now we have all of that there. Now, let's say this red's kind of throwing us off on the logo now. We can change that too. We can go ahead and swap that back to the all gray, black one. We can even make it bigger to fit that space a little bit nicer. Up to you on that. Again, this is your personal preference and how you want it to look. But once we're all done and everything is swapped out, our flyer is ready to go. Now, again, if you wanted to add a QR code on here so they can scan that, you can grab that as well. I can send them to my app or my website. Again, I can also create one that's custom for this open house and have them scan that instead. So let's just find a good place to put this. I'm going to move this up here. We're going to put it with the logo. I'm going to make it just a tiny bit smaller so it fits in that space a little better. I'm going to change this to put it right here. As you can see, when I did expanded that bar, it didn't move up. That's probably because they put a space there, whoops, to move it to the second line. So what I'm going to do is just remove that space that they entered. So we'll just put that right there. Move that up. And then let's just pop this little QR code in the bottom here. And we can add some text. We'll do add. You can put whatever you want here. I'm just making it real simple. So we're going to make this really small. Oh, I'm grabbing the wrong things. However you want that. Again, I'm just giving you an example of what you can do. Once we're done though, and we have our flyer exactly how we want it, we can either order prints if you have time to do that, or you can simply just download that. You can do PDF standard or PDF for printing. PDF for printing is going to give you those bleed lines. Make sure everything is in that image when it's printed, not getting cut off. We're going to go ahead and do PDF standard. It says all pages, but there's only one, and I'm going to go ahead and hit download. Now, if I also wanted to use this for social media, I certainly could. You'd want to download that as a JPEG or PNG to add those to social media. Once we're done though, we have our flyer here. We can take a look at it, make sure it's good, how we like it. From there, we can go ahead and print it in office, have it printed somewhere locally, however you want to do that, so that you have it for your open house. I do not see any questions. So we're going to go ahead and hit done to save this. And you can see it's saving changes. Now I have that flyer right here if I need to go back in and make changes, or if I want to use that for the next time I create an open house to stay even more consistent. I can either make a copy or just go in and edit that one if I don't need it anymore. Moving along, we have about half our class left. Let's go ahead and jump into the listing presentation. So I just went to import design. Again, we're brought into our projects, and we're going to go ahead and head over to templates. Now for the listing presentation, that is going to be under, let's see, did they move it? Or am I missing it? So usually there is one here that says listing presentation, similar to the buyer presentation. Quick question in the chat. Yes, if you make social media posts and you are scheduling them through campaigns in Command, you can schedule them and go out different days. We do have a class that goes over that in full depth. And I can drop the link for that at the end of class if you would like. Well, you guys, we might have to take a look at the buyer presentation. They may be working out some new designs or something. They moved it under auto create. Well, I think it was always under auto create, but they should have them down here as well. We'll go ahead and take a look at the auto create. So we'll just pick one of these. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with this one today. And thank you for pointing that out. Usually they're also under listings, so I wonder where that went. So once that loads, and usually it's better to let it load because otherwise it can cause some errors here and there. Every once in a while it can take a minute. There we go. So from there, you'll notice that we have a little button down here that says pages. If we click on that, we'll be able to see all of the pages in this listing presentation. Now I'd just like to mention, we're not going to go through every page of this and edit every single page. But I'm going to walk you through what it looks like to edit some of those pages. You do want to make sure you remove pages that are not necessary or that do not apply to you and your business and the way that you run your business. So for example, listing presentation template, you probably don't want to leave that in there. You could change it and have it say something else. You'll also notice that the second page of the listing presentation is instructions. Now that is for you, the agent. It's telling you how to edit this presentation, this packet, in order to be able to provide it to clients. So you definitely want to remove that. You don't want to be handing that out. To remove that page, you just click these three little dots and you have duplicate or delete. I'm going to go ahead and delete. It's going to confirm that I want to remove that page and I'm going to remove it. Now, most likely this is going to be the cover of your listing presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that first one as well. But again, up to you. From here, you can start customizing this. So same as the other packet or the other design we were on, you can double click or use that typewriter right here to edit. So I'm just going to put Scott up here. And then we can change the photo. We can change our photo, swapping that out. We can change the name. It's a little silly because I'm making it for Scott and it's from Scott. That's okay. You can change your information down here as well. And I'm just gonna zoom in so it's a little easier for you guys to see. .com because it's already there. As you can see, it does make it go to 2 lines. So I'm gonna wanna move that. And then I'm gonna move this over. May need to do it again, we'll see. Probably because this email is kind of long. Now, of course, again, I can make that text smaller if I want as well. We're going to leave the phone and the kw.com website alone. We have our disclaimer. We can swap out that logo. Do want to point out every once in a while the logos are a little finicky and hard to click on. If you zoom in and move around, you should be able to get it. Go ahead and swap that one. Now we're all done with this page. Everything's been edited. You could switch this logo to here if you want, but since we already have the Market Center specific logo, I'm going to leave that alone. We're going to go to our next page. This has some information on the property that the client is trying to list. So you would want to edit all of that: bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, some information about the property, photos if you have them. If not, no big deal. The next one is going to be the snapshot. So I like to show how to edit this snapshot here. If we click on that and we go to the KWLS, you'll notice next to listing we have snapshots. If we click on that, we can then search by neighborhood or zip code. I'm going to go ahead and grab this zip code from our listing that we were just doing. We're going to enter that. And I just hit enter on the keyboard to search for that. So we'll give it a second to pull up. Now it gives us a couple of options. So we have this kind of shorter image here that has most of the same information. We have this one that doesn't really have all of the stats on it. And then we also have the same one that they have here. Now I'm going to click on this one and it should give me the replace again. It's going to perfectly put that in there. And I do like to point out at this point, you cannot manually edit the information that populates. So if for whatever reason the stats don't look accurate or you don't like what they're showing, you would need to create your own image in Command and then pull it over. And there are some templates that are similar to that that you could edit and then pull in. But unfortunately, these specifically cannot be edited. Now we can change this here to match what we pulled. So I'm going to do, this is Savannah that I was using this listing for. So we're going to put Savannah. I'm going to actually make this text just a little bit smaller so that it fits on one line. There we go. And then you can go ahead and edit the rest of the information on here. If this is a page that you don't like, you don't want to use or highlight, you can certainly, again, just delete that. The next page here is 5, comparable properties. So you could then edit that to highlight and show the comparable properties. Again, questions on these dots sometimes, if you don't like them, you can remove them. You just click on them and delete. Your needs come first. So this kind of just a little, what's the one thing that has to happen to make this dream scenario reality? Just those generic questions that you hear, just to better understand where your client is coming from and how to best serve them. The next one is the process. So this is going to go over some of the process in the timeline. You can see there's some empty boxes. If you have additional things to add, you can add those or you can delete those extra boxes. You just click on them and then hit delete on your keyboard. Or there's a little trash can up here to remove. You do want to make sure you go through these other things that are listed and remove anything that does not apply to you and how you handle your business. The next one here that we're going to look at is your custom marketing plan. So this is going to talk a little bit about how you serve them with your marketing, finding your buyer, best-in-class promotional assets. So this just kind of talks about how some of the things that you're able to do with Command to help provide them a better service. Your media plan, same thing, different things in Command that you have access to better promote their listing, get it sold. Again, if there's anything on here you don't use or want to do, you would want to remove those. You also want to add or highlight anything that you do that's not included. Strategic promotion, so coming soon campaign, just listed campaign. It just talks about those different things you can do. Open house strategy, so this just covers that. You then have, it's all in the details, eye-catching yard signs, your listing amplified door knocking, mass mobile marketing, videography, high quality photos, all of those things. Again, customize it to yourself and your business plan. We then have real experience, real expertise. These are going to go over the numbers. In a lot of cases, if you're a brand new agent and you don't have numbers to enter here, you can get with your Market Center staff, and they may be able to provide you some Market Center stats to help you fill those in until you have your own. Here, you will notice that there is agent information on this page, so you would want to make sure you get that adjusted. I'm just going to quickly type Scott here. If I could click on it. You want to put in the rest of the information here. So if you have a set title, if you have specific credentials, otherwise go ahead and remove those. And then of course, don't forget to replace those logos. the next page. The proof is in my numbers. So again, if you don't have numbers, reach out to your Market Center, they can help, or you can remove this page until you do. You also have the option to leave it here and just skip that when you're downloading it so that it won't print that specific page. Next one is going to be credentials and awards. Again, these can be KWRI provided awards, or if you have your own, or a mixture of both. Leading in the industry, this talks a little bit about KW. Portfolio of excellence. So again, something you may or may not have as a brand new agent, or you may not have all of these and you may need to just delete half of them. Just a little. So up to you on how that's displayed. Next, we have some more. And again, you can hide or delete some of these. If you have some featured listings you'd like to highlight that you've previously had. Representing your home. So these are going to be client testimonials that you can go ahead and add. Promise to them. Selling safely. So this is just going to go over showings, socially distant tours, contactless transactions, all that good stuff. The bottom line. You then have some information on your app. This is a great place to add that QR code if you have it. You could simply swap this out, or you can go ahead and add your code there. I'm going to go ahead and move this down, move this over, and we're going to just grab that app QR. And we'll go ahead and add that here. Actually, I'm going to delete this KW in this one. We'll move this over. Just add this right here. The last page is just going to have some more of your agent information. Now I do like to highlight here where you can add a frame to add your photo. So as you can see from the ones we were adding the agent photo to before, it was in a perfect little circle. We can do that. So if you click off of the design, so in this space around it, you'll notice that we have frames up here, shapes, drawing, text. If we click on that frames, it's going to allow us to select a specific shape that we would like to put a photo into. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the circle. And you'll notice if I'm clicked on the design, that's not available. I do need to be clicked off of it. But once I have that, I can go ahead and add Scott's photo. We'll just add it up here since this is where all the agent information is. And we can go ahead and replace that since we're clicked on the circle. Then we can go ahead and start editing this text. So we would edit all phone numbers, emails, the link again, or you can add that QR code again. And then we want to swap out that logo. Now, once we're done, we have all of the pages that we want to use. Everything is edited. We would then just download this. Same as before, PDF or PDF for printing. You'll notice here that we do have all pages. This is where if there is a page you do not want to have in yours, you can remove it. So for example, if we don't have any, let's go ahead and remove these featured listings and things like that. If we want to remove those, we just uncheck them. It will remove those pages from here and we can download. Now you'll see down in the bottom left, it is downloading. It will take a little bit longer when it's this many pages. So you do have to give it just a little bit of a minute. Once it's downloaded, we can then take a look at it a little bit closer. I do like to point out the share button for PDF or for the listing presentation. I don't know about anybody else, but I am super guilty of losing paper, whether it's receipts or packets, it doesn't matter. I lose it. So I do like to use the share button. This is a great way to email your listing presentation to your client so that they have a copy of it. Even if they misplace that piece of paper, that listing packet, they still have access. So when you're doing the share, you do want to make sure you are on anyone with the link. And then if we copy this link here and send that over in an email, they can view that listing presentation in kind of a digital booklet form. So just a great way to leave that with them as well. I'm gonna go back while that's loading. You can share it different ways. I like to just use the link. It seems to work the best. Keep in mind though, when you are sharing the link, if those pages are here, whether you unclicked them when you downloaded, they are going to remain here. So if you want to remove them, you will want to delete them. Maybe just make a copy of the presentation before you delete them if you are wanting to save those. Otherwise, they'll always be available in the new one. But here is our printable one. We can then send this to be printed or print it in Office. Totally up to you on how you do that. If we go back to that shareable one, you'll see that we have, again, that little booklet. We can do it in magazine mode where it will show more than one page if it loads. Nope, not going to load the right way today. So it should have 2 pages, but that's okay. It's going to do it this way instead. They might have changed this. Anyways, you can then view all of your pages. You can go from page to page, and they have that digital booklet. Now, they don't have access to edit this. They would have to have your command logins to do that. So just keep that in mind. They do have the option to download it and save it again, share it, print it. But this is just a great way for them to have a copy of it if they lose that actual packet that you were providing them with. That is all I have to go over with you. We have about 8 minutes left. If there are any questions, please go ahead and drop those in the chat. If you do need to unmute yourself, let me know. You can raise your hand and I can unmute you. I'm going to go ahead and stop record though, since that is all of our class today.